Good morning. It's December the 2nd, last month already of 2019. And we're ready for another live stream. Live coding, office development, extending the office environment with JavaScript. Let's start the show. Good morning. It's early in the morning again. 6:45 a.m. Europe time, and let's check. 10:45 Pacific and 0:45. That's 12:45 a.m. in East Coast. Let's switch to the code window. Last Friday we've been looking at the command structure of Office. Is there a dip in my stream? Seems like a little bit laggy on the other side. Let's lower the music a little bit. Let's get into the command window. Command. The further we get in time, the more we do in command windows. I started in the 80s developing command windows. Let's see. Then there was a lot of UI development developed, and over time we are now returning back to the command window again. Projects. Test commands, I think it was, yes. Code. I'm not quite awake yet, so keep me awake in the chat if you like, so I can keep my eyes open and get ready for the day. Run the application for the first time. Oh, that's not right. Yes. npm start. First typo in the morning. Node window, kicking the node server. That should throw up a word. There it is. We lost, I think, the error that we ran into the last couple of weeks by disabling the Internet Explorer JavaScript debugger. Get started with our sample add-in. Got it. So we now have a new tab and we have a new button. And if I click on the button, let's see if the server is already up. It's already up. So it should be working if I click this. You're on the cutting edge. Yes, I'm an Office Insider. I have my Office Insider cap over here. So just to confirm that. Close. Hit the task pane. And there's the task pane. Apparently running smoothly. Ta-da. There you have it. Let's lower the music a little bit again. Dun-dun-dun. Pretzel. I'm using Pretzel for music. Oh, it's already kind of low over there. 30%. Yeah. So let's see what we can do and put in here more than this. If we can put in more buttons and maybe hit more task panes as well. Because if you want to build an application, there's most likely more than one button that you want to put over here. Example, if you have this one, you have all sorts of buttons and groups and whatnot. So let's dive in and see if we can find out more about the ribbon. Google. Where to put my drinks? There. Still need to see my chat room. Keep an eye on you guys. Java. Now let's look for OfficeJS commands. Custom tab. That should throw us into the right location. Custom tab element in the manifest file. There's the version overrides. What's version overrides? Oh. Did I just collapse the version overrides? Yes, I did. So what does version overrides mean? The root element that contains information for the add-ins implemented by the add-in. Version overrides is the child element of the Office app element in the manifest. The element is supported in This element is supported in Schema 1.1 and later, but defined in the version overrides 0 or 1.0 or .1, I should say. Schema location, XMLNS, like XML namespace. That's a required one. And XSI type, the schema version. At this time, the only valid value is our version overrides 1.0 or 1_0, I should say. There's a lot going on in Discord right now. Let's see. Announcements. Let's adjust the microphone a little bit. Let's see, what can we put in here? We have all form factors, authorizations. What's authorization doing in here? Specifies the external resource the add-in web application needs also authorization to and require permissions. For example, web application info ID, my domain, blah blah, files, read all, offline open ID, profile, authorization API. Not sure why that's in there. Let's start with groups. We can put in things like labels and controls, and both required. We've seen that in here. Because if we found out that if we left out the label, for instance, then the complete group was failing. So this group ID group has a button. So this little group, if you resize this, let's see what is going on there. Resize this and make it very small. Wow, there's nothing at all. That's interesting. It completely removes the ribbon in this case. How about Script Lab? This is smallest, and then nothing. Complete ribbon is removed if you make it too small. I would expect to have at least a little bit of a button over there. So I don't know why you have this one button icon 16. That's the Twitch icon, yes. So we put an icon in there, but we also have the control in here. It's the button again, but it's the same one as this one. So I should think that this one is not needed. Is that by default in there? Let's click on the second one. I think this is the default generated one. The interesting thing over here is that you have custom tab again, group. But I'm not sure why there's an icon on the group, because I don't think that's supported. And the actions show task pane. This is the one that's connected to the button, I should think. Let's move to the other one. What if we take this out? Because if you look at the custom tab, go to the documentation, custom tab, what is supposed to be in there? A group and a label. And what do we have in here? A group and a label. That's correct. So then we go to the group. And the group just has the label and the control. If we expand this one, label. So this one should be obsolete. Label and control. Label and... but there's a super tip in here as well. A label and a control. The control in this case should be the button, I think. Where's my button in here? Test commands. Icon. It's just an icon, no button. Well, there is. So where did my button go? This is my button. Okay, wait. This is the complete button, the complete control. So if you collapse this, then you have the label and the control as specified in here. So let's try to put in a second group. Group ID equals to tab live stream custom about. Group, add a second group in here, and then put in another label, and that needs a resource ID. Resource ID equals to something, and a control. And are they required? Yes, they are required. The label for a custom tab or a group, or collection or one or more objects. Required. The label group, the label of the group, the resource ID must be set to the value of the ID of string in the element store short strings in the resources element. Let's check label. What are the options for label? A label. Label required. There's no other option here specified like label, so that's the only thing available. Label requires a resource in the short strings. And we had the first one, get started commands. Which one was the first group? Commands group label. So this would be another resource ID, label about, let's see what's done by script lab, for instance, about the APIs. About live coding. Take this resource ID, copy that, put it in here, and save this. Let's see if we know this recompiling. Now let's see if we can. Yeah, you can't reload it because the ribbon is not reloaded. If you reload the add-in, the ribbon is reloaded, I think, only on startup. Close node. Test commands is still one. npm start. there's an issue, and that's true because I did not put a control in here. At least I did not complete the control. XSI type equals to, and let's see what types do we have available on the control. A group requires at least one control. And what are controls in this case? Like ribbons, no buttons.
Oh my god, I never thought I'd ever hear MGMT again.
Control XSI type equals button. There's not much on the there's a control. So why is the link to the control not working in here? It's going to the control section, but it should go to control, yeah, label. It's all going to the same page. And control section should have a reference to the control documentation page. There is no reference to the control reference page on this page. As a result from this, the developer is in the dark on what to use for controls. There is just the little example, but that doesn't show what what control options are available. Submit feedback. Where am I in this page? Oh. I took it on GitUp. Interesting. So apparently I opened an issue, I think, on GitUp. Let's see. GitUp login 0365 devx. It's automatically generated an issue. Nice. Look at my profile. Wow. Interesting. These are all my details. What's it? GitHub developer program. Building an application server tool with GitHub. Join the developer program or read more about it on our developer site. Join the developer. Let's first look at this one. Build your apps on the GitHub platform. Ta-da. Okay. And I'm drifting off again. Register for the GitHub developer program. There's a way to integrate GitHub. Integrates with GitHub. Okay. Let's do that in another session. Don't do that for today. So reference to, it should add a reference to control, like this one. What's like control tab then, by the way? Control tab. On the ribbon, you specify which tab and group for their add-in commands. This can be either on the default tab, home, message, meeting, or on the custom tab defined by the add-in. And the tab has a, so this is the one that you specify over here. This commands, that's apparently this is a custom tab. Yeah, that's the custom tab. I thought there was control, something like this. Let's see, the exercise type, and then the ID is not required. Exercise type button. So you can have button, menu, and mobile button. What's a mobile button? Mobile button. Menu. Mobile button. A mobile button performs a single action when the user selects it. It can either be execute a function or show a task pane. Can execute a function or show a task pane. My language is terrible today. Come on. Each mobile button control must have an ID unique to the manifest. A mobile button for exercise type is defined in version override schema 1. So version overrides. Do we have a version overrides in here? Here, version overrides. So this is version 0, so we need version 1 for this. And what does it imply? Version overrides the root element that contains information for the add-ins command implemented by the add-in. Version overrides is the child element of Office app element in the manifest. The element is supported in manifest schema 1.1, but is defined in the overrides version 1 or 1.1. Schema location. So if that's the case, then you also need to make that 1.1. That's an important detail. Task pane overrides. Oh really? Task pane overrides. Multiple versions. Implementing multiple versions. To implement both the overrides 1.1, the manifest should look similar like the following example. This is version 1. So the question is, what host is supporting things like overrides 1.1 and which one is supporting just the 1.0 version. Currently only Outlook 2016 or later supports the version override schema and the version override 1_1 type. So that would mean that if I do this, let's leave out the control. Is there a control required? Like custom tab, and then we have the group, and the control is required. So let's copy just the control from this one, just for demo's sake. Good morning, welcome to the stream. Let's copy this in here, and let's see that we actually have a non-supported version 1.1 in here. Let's first change this back to 1_0. Oh, it should say 0. 0. Typing is hard these days. So this should work. npm start. This should give us a ribbon with 2 groups on it and 2 controls. If you want to know what we're doing, just type in bang project. Oh, there you go. And this is not, yeah, there's an issue in here because I obviously made a mistake in my code here because I copied the thing over there. Is it? Let's see if I change the ID of the group command group live stream about group, yes. Label about, that should be in the strings. Yes, it is. Then the button is in here. I should think you should be able to reuse this one. Pretty sure I missed something. Let's take the complete part out. Do it one by one. Notepad. Because I first wanted to test if the version is supported. Is it what did I put in here? 1. Now we're back to 1 group item and a label. And that's mandatory. And then for the group you have the label was mandatory and a control. So this should work. Try it again. npm start. There's Node again. Oh wow. What did I mess up in here? Should be related to the resource string then, maybe. Resource string. Commands group label about. Can't imagine that it's the issue. And what I took out from this as well is the icon for the group. Don't tell me the icon is required. Save this. Run again. npm start. Still not working. So it looks like the icon is required as well. Group label. I didn't mess this one up, did I? Version overrides like this. That looks the same. That's found. That's found. That should be okay. So it looks like the icon is required. Let's roll back everything. Go all the way back. Yeah. There's no button in here. Group. There you have it. There I removed the icon. So this should be it. So let's see if this is working. npm start. There you have it. Simple, got it. There's the thingy. And there's the add-in again. Let's wait for the node item to return. There it is. Now the task pane kicks in. So the icon appears to be required. Don't save. Don't save. That's bad documentation. The group requires an icon. Why does it require the icon? Group. So just for kicks, if we put in this demo, put in the demo in here. Let's make sure the all these well, that's not going to work because the control doesn't have anything in there. Let's roll this back. So apparently, still, let's check again if this is working. npm start. That works. Let's close this and close that. Quickly terminate this. So now take out the icon group in here. Let's first take out just the images. npm start this, npm start. I can imagine the icon section needs something as a requirement. That's failing. I also take out this. And npm start this also. npm start. Word kicks in and it's failing. So we definitely need an icon in there for whatever reason. I don't know why, because I think it's never used. Let's bring back the icon. What if there's only one in there? npm start. This add-in is no longer available, blah blah blah. Same issue. So you need at least I think 3 items. Oh. This should make it work again. npm start. Got it. And now it's here. So what if I put in a complete different icon? Let's see. Size 16 to 32. Let's see what the documentation says about the icon in here. The icon says the type of icon is defined. The only application. This is only applicable to icons in mobile form factors. Oh, it's required if you have a XSI type is required if you have mobile form factor. Icon elements contained with a mobile form factor element must have the attribute to set to button mobile icon list. The image is required, an image for the button. A resize ID must be set to the value of the ID of an image in the image's elements. And that's this one. The size attribute indicates the size in pixels. 3 image sizes are required, while 5 other sizes are supported. (20, 24, 40, 84 and 60 pixels. Additional requirements for mobile form factors. When the parent icon element is descendant of mobile form factor, and that's only apparently in Outlook with the version 1_1 in it. Mobile icon list. So if I go back to the group element, I want to send feedback about this page as well. Icon child element is also required on group, otherwise it's a typo, omitting like this. The icon child element result in an error loading the add-in. Therefore, icon is required EA the icon node with the 3 required icon images for 16, 32 and 80. 16, 32 and 80 pixel, I think. Yeah. Oh shit. Darn. By moving away, I also moved away from my entry. Darn it. Icon child element is required. Omitting the icon child element will result in an error not loading the add-in. Therefore, the icon element is a required element. The icon node with the 3 required image child elements like this. Copy. Paste it in. One, two, three. Or in this case, maybe a tab. Oh, no, it's not possible to put in a tab there. Submit feedback. Okay, so that's the second one. Now put in the second group. Now we're back to where we started. Like this. Copy. First check if we actually have a working version. npm npm start. Got it. And it's working, so that's a good thing. Now put in the second group. No, what I wanted to test first was what happens if we change the version over to 1_1. So try this again, npm start, see if it's working. that's not working. See, that's also always a good thing to test first. And why is this not working? Oh, because the group is still in. There it is. One group. npm start. Now it's working. Yes. Now change over the version and see what's happening if we do that. Because apparently to the documentation this is not working. Version overrides. Go to the documentation, version overrides. Version overrides. That's version overrides without extension, and then 1.1 when that's version overrides, so 1_1. And currently only Outlook 2016 or later is supports version 1.1. So what we should see is that it now is failing here. npm, oh darn it, npm start. I'm wearing my old office shirt again today. Oh, what's happening here? What? Apparently the ribbon is not in here, but the task pane is loaded without without interaction. That's interesting. Oh, this is interesting. So what did we do? We changed the version overrides to 1_1, and if you have 1_1 in here, let's see if we can find this somewhere and see if we, what library do we have in here. App for Office 1.1. It's already prepared for React as well, so that's interesting. To continue, webpack config, that should have the reference to the library, I should think, and it doesn't. Let's find the OfficeJS preview requirement set, and that needs apps for Office. Apps for Office is in there. and I'm running the beta, as you can see. And also in the task pane. What file is this? Task pane HTML. Okay. But now I'm interested in seeing why the version overrides when changing it to 1_1. Copy. Google. Word. Execute function. The most anticipated OfficeJS feature is here. Is your Outlook web access trying to create an add-in, mitigate the accidental release of personal identify information? You're probably looking for a way to stop sending the message if it doesn't pass the test. So that's not related to this version overrides 1.1. This is the one with the, where is this? What's this for a page? Complex types. Office Web Extensibility Manifest Format. Okay. Contains elements for version 1.1. Overrides the mail app in the Office add-in manifest. So the interesting thing about this is that it's loading the task pane without Google. Load task pane OfficeJS. Automatically open the task pane with the document. We are developing a Word task pane in Word 2013. When we insert add-in and save the document, when we reopen the add-in automatically loaded. In Word Online, the behavior is different. We changed the behavior. We have changed the behavior you described. Starting January, Word Online add-ins will be persisted. In the document, just like Word Desktop, so number 1 is not supported now, but will be soon. Number 2 and 3 are not available now. Number 1 is not supported, but will be soon. When we insert an add-in and save the document, when we reopen the document, the add-in is automatically loaded. Yeah, okay. Word Online is different. The add-in doesn't get automatically loaded. The user has to manually insert the add-ins every time the document is opened. Is there a way to automatically load it to Word Online? Would running Office web add-in server help? It's a way to load the add-in through a parameter. I recommend you add a tag OfficeJS. Yeah. Thanks, I've added. That's done. Thank you for posting the issue. Looks like we have a temporary issue at present where add-ins width is getting saved. Temporary workarounds. 1. Opening the file in client app and saving the file will fix the width. After the file is edited in the client, blah blah, it's not interesting at all. This one. Automatically open a task pane with the document. You can use add-in commands in your Office add-in to extend the Office UI by adding buttons to the ribbon. Yes. Good morning, by the way. Good evening if you're in the US. What we've seen is that if you change the version for test commands in the Office manifest to something like _11, let's go to the manifest over here. And if we have the version set to 1.1, the ribbon is not shown, but the add-in is loaded automatically for some reason. So I'm quite surprised about that. They should bring back the button again. And not load it. So in the meantime, I'm trying to find out why it's auto-loading. How is the auto-open feature different from inserting a task pane? When a user launches add-in, that don't use add-in commands. For example, add-ins that run in Office 2013, they are inserted in the document and persist in the document. Blah blah blah. Best practices. Support and availability. Auto-open is supported. Best practices. Use the auto-open feature when it helps. When it helps making your add-in more efficient. Such as when the document needs the add-in in order to function properly. Yes. Allow users to turn on and off. Did you turn it on and off again? Off and on again, I should say. Did you turn it off and on again? Allow users to turn off and on again. Use the requirements set detection to determine whether auto-open feature is available, and provide fallback if it isn't. Don't use the auto-open feature to artificially increase usage of the add-in. Okay. If Microsoft detects abuse of the auto-open features, your add-in might be rejected from app source. Steps. Specify the task pane to open. To specify the task pane to open automatically, set the task pane ID value to Office Auto Show Task Pane with document. You can only set this value on one task pane. If you set this value on multiple task panes, the first occurrence of the value will be recognized. And the others will be ignored. So, if you have this action, following example shows the task pane ID value to auto show task pane with document. Specify the task pane to open. And where do you have this? Source location. Show task pane. The action. There it is. Oh, for that reason. Action is type show task pane. Custom tab. Show task pane. The action is show task pane if you click the button. But if you do, instead of doing that, you do this. Task pane ID. Oh. So instead, task pane ID Office Auto show task pane with document. And the task pane is still the same, so we can move this one to there and lower this one. Move that away. That's one part. Tag the document to automatically open the task pane. You can tag the document to trigger the auto open feature in two ways. Pick the alternative that works best for your scenario. One or two ways. Use the OfficeJS settings set method. Use the OfficeJS settings set method to set the Office Auto show task pane with document to true, as shown in the following example. Use this method if you need it to tag the document as part of your add-in interaction. For example, as soon as the user creates a binding or chooses an option to indicate that you want the task pane to open, use OpenXML tag to the document. You can use OpenXML to create or modify a document and add the appropriate Office XML markup trigger. Markup to trigger the auto open feature. For example, that shows how to do this. Embed an add-in. So what if you have a new document? Find the asset version of the app source landing page. Note, in this example the visibility attribute is set to 0. This means the web extension and task pane are added. The first time the document is opened, the user has to install the add-in from the add-in button on the ribbon. Therefore, if the add-in task pane opens automatically when the file is opened, also when you set visibility to 0, you can use OfficeJS to enable users to turn on and off the auto open feature. Specifically, your script sets auto show task pane with document setting to true or false. So apparently this is only supported for for documents. Different from inserting a task pane. When the user launches an add-in that don't use add-in commands, for example, add-ins that run blah blah, with the auto open, we explicitly define or allow user to define specific task pane add-in persist to a document. Google OfficeJS auto open application. How to run web add-in automatically on opening close Excel. My guess it's not allowed. With document, but this is with document. I don't know what an open a task pane is. That logic should be executed in the background on opening closing Excel. I think this kind of feature is not available. It's also a risk, I should think. So this probably doesn't work with as an add-in. But let's try it, see if it survives the change. npm start. Well, it's there. And apparently it all seems to work. So you might wonder, why is there a button ID in there? What's this? Like this, task pane ID. Maybe if you need to reference it later on. Let's keep this in for reference. Okay, comment. Oh, I should say Ctrl K comment. Yeah. And save the URL. Like this one. In the show notes. Like this, with the title in there. Automatically open a task pane within the document. Let's make that an point of discussion for our next show topics. Automatically open a task pane with the document. That's nice for a session ID. Make that bold. Okay. For now, I need to close this down because we need to get to work today. Um, so today we've been looking at the extending the Office host a little bit more. What we've seen is that we need to actually put in an icon on a group to make it work, otherwise it will fail. For the rest of the week, I need to go to Amsterdam tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I can make the morning shift. Maybe I need to change it over to tomorrow evening for Europe time, and that means for Pacific and Eastern time in the morning. So keep an eye on my schedule. Also, if you don't want to look at my schedule, just get notified when I'm online. Hit the follow button if you like. Then you can see when I'm back online again. As I can predict it right now, I will be there tomorrow evening Europe time, and not in the morning. But I will change it in the schedule after I reviewed my agenda for this week. So, and I will also put it on Discord, like bang Discord. Join me on my Discord server, and you can see my notifications as well on there. Anyway, it was a good session. Learned some new things again. Posted two issues to the Office development GitHub repository and see how they react on that. So let's kill the music and throw in the end leader. I see you tomorrow.